welcome to the Max Life. Today, Colby has spent the past couple of years going in the bees by herself. I have not been in them in a really long time, but today we've got some babysitters inside, and that means I'm going to be able to go out with Colby. Now, to tell you that we are going to literally be dripping sweat is a little bit of an understatement because it is very hot. It is in the middle of the day, and we are in full suits, boots, and it's about to get real warm. But I am kind of excited to show y'all the process that we do with bees because it is pretty cool. They are very unique creatures, but they offer something really liquid gold is what I like to call it. It is something that I use daily in my kitchen is honey, regardless if I'm making pancakes, I'm making biscuits, I am just dipping something in for a snack, you know, whatever it may be. I use honey in my kitchen daily. And usually when we go in the summer and rob the hive, it's usually enough that will last me for a full year. I sometimes give a couple of jars away to different people in our community, and sometimes I have a couple of extra jars to sell here and there, but for the most part I don't, because I like for my honey to last our family, and we have a big old family and I cook a lot of stuff from scratch, but I like for that honey to last me for a year. And all the years that we've had bees, that has really been the beauty of when we go in, really the honey has lasted us for a year. It's really a beautiful thing to tend to them, even though they don't require a lot of care. Really, they don't. They also supply us with a year's worth of sugar, which is a wonderful thing. So we're about to go in and I'm gonna get some footage for y'all. If you've never been into a hive, this will give you a little glimpse of what it looks like. I encourage you to get bees because they do more than just give honey. They are also wonderful pollinators as well. Suited up, one of the first things you want to do is get some smoke. And for those of you that may not know, smoke kind of stuns them. It just sends them into I don't exactly know what's going on, I'm just gonna calm down a little bit kind of mode. It just doesn't make them as feisty as if you didn't have smoke. And believe we know this because we have learned this before. So Colby's about to go into our first hive. Here's our hives.
Still light smoke.
Now the expression busy as a bee really is a true statement when you say that.
Yes, absolutely. They never stop working.
So the nurse bees that are the female bees, they live to be how many days?
I think it's 28 off the top of my head.
I was thinking it was 30 days that the nurse bees will live, and those are so another good name for them would be like the worker bees, right?
Well, yes, the female bees are your worker bees and your nurse bees. They just kind of have different roles.
And then you have what's known as your drone bees. Now, what do your drone bees actually do?
That's your actual male bees. They're a lot bigger. When you start seeing a lot of those, of course, it means breeding, but also what it does mean is it means if there are too many in there, it could be that they're getting ready to swarm. If you look at these bigger cells right there, that's actually drone cells. Your typical cells shouldn't be that big, but that means that's some male bees right there.
What is their role in the hive?
All they do is just mate the queen. They can't even sting you.
Yeah, so when you get stung by a lovely lady, you're getting stung by the females of the hive, and you typically don't see a lot of, now you just took the queen excluder off, right? So the queen could be in here. The queen can easily
be here, so I'm kind of watching what I'm doing, especially since I have seen a little shells on here and a lot of brood on here.
And the queen, so she's kind of like the boss of the hive, right?
Right.
The queen, her main goal is just to lay more, basically these nurse or worker bees. That's just her job, is to just lay eggs, right? All she does is just lay babies and sends her pheromones out as jobs for every other bee to follow the rules, right?
Correct.
Now, when you're in a hive and you're actually working a hive, if it's ready, if the honey's ready, what would you say?
So we've seen honey in every frame because they're always bringing it in during the honey flow. The difference in honey being ready or not is two things, and I'll show you right here on this frame. It's closed off cells or non-closed off cells. So for instance, this is not one ready. Some of it's closed off. They've waxed the fronts of them, and then some of it is not. So I'm gonna leave this one because it's not ready. It's on the very end, so I figured that. But I'll show you one that's fully closed off in just a second.
Now, why is it important for those to be capped off to say that they're ready?
If they're not kept off, the honey could crystallize quicker. So here's a whole capped off frame right there. That's spring honey, beautiful flow right there. That little bit at the end is not going to affect it, but that means it's ready to go.
We've pretty much just seen our process that we just repeat over and over and again until we get all through the hives. We literally just open up those tops. We'll check frame for frame. Is it capped off honey? If it's not, it goes back in. If it is, then we put it in our box that we take inside and replace it with a fresh frame for them to start working on. And we do that through all the boxes, and then we'll take inside and spin. And that is the funnest part. So we're gonna flip the camera back on and show y'all that when we get to that. We don't wanna make this too long of a video because not a lot of people have bees, but just to kind of give you a glimpse into what it looks like dealing with bees. It's really cool. Even if you have a small homestead, live in the city, whatever your situation is, you can do bees. You only need a little bit of space, and they can provide you with so much other than just honey, but pollinators as well. Bees are super cool, so we wanted to show y'all that and do a little teaching along the way. We are done on this side, and we are headed over to our secondary hive right now. Colby had to take a phone call with work, but I wanted to show y'all how much I am sweating. So under these bee suits in Mississippi with winter clothes on will literally make you look like this. This is our last set, so here we go, and we're gonna go get this stuff spun. We made it in. We had to change clothes because we were both literally dripping with sweat. But let me say this, I can't really complain because I would really, and I know Colby can probably attest to this too, would rather have sweat dripping off our nose than be pulling water hoses across the yard when it is so cold that our hands feel like they're actually on fire. What would you think, Colby? Would you rather sweat a little bit or freeze absolutely to death?
It doesn't bother me too bad.
He's lying. When winter comes, he'll be like, I'll be so glad when summer gets here. So we made it inside. We did have to change clothes because we were real wet. I want to show y'all real quick our setup, and kind of when we say sling honey, we actually are slinging it with a honey extractor. So I want to just kind of show y'all our setup so you can see how we get our honey. All right, so we have this little setup right here where this bucket catches our wax, because I do keep this. This just holds it up so it can fall in, and you see that Colby is just basically using a serrated knife. And when we talked about capping off the honey, so he's actually just removing the wax caps that are on each little cell of honey, and they just cap that off to keep the honey and we're just gonna remove that. They make all these handy dandy little tools to make life a little bit easier. So you have to actually open up those wax caps, because when you put them in the extractor and sling the honey, that will allow the honey to come out of those cells and down into the bottom of your extractor. Now, what will I do with all of that wax? I'm glad y'all asked. So that wax will be cleansed. I have a whole video over on the Max channel of cleaning beeswax. Now that cleaned beeswax will then go into my sunscreen. I have a whole video on that too, over on the Max as well. I use it to make lip balm. I believe I have a video on that as well. So y'all go check out the Max. Our older videos, all you have to do is go in and type it in, and it will pull up all sorts of videos of homemade products like sunscreen, like lip balm. All those videos are over there. Even cleaning the wax, because I use those in products that I use every day around the homestead. Now this is going over into our extractor. And that's what it looks like on the inside. And there is another frame on the other side. So this frame, both sides get the wax taken off. 2 frames go in at a time, and then we will literally spin it, and it slings the honey out. So we have not mounted it down to anything so we can keep it mobile. So it just requires a little bit of an extra hand to hold it down, and then one as you're spinning. Nevertheless, it does the job, and we always get our honey out. It would be nice to upgrade one day, but it does the job. It doesn't take us too terribly long. And if we ever added more hives to where we were getting a lot more honey, we would definitely invest into a bigger honey extractor. But right now, it's totally not needed. The one that we have does what we need it to do. Oh, you can see that the honey was literally spun out into the extractor in the bottom of the tank. It's like a holding tank, and there's a little spigot right here in the front, where once this fills up and we're ready to put our honey in our 5-gallon buckets, we will actually, Colby and I will pick this thing up and put it on the counter, and our 5-gallon buckets will go under this spigot. We will then filter if there's any little wax pieces that get in this holding container. It just gets filtered out. Mesh strainers that look like this right here. That is literally all we do to our honey. It just goes through this double strainer right here where it gets the wax out. We do not heat it. It does not get pasteurized. We don't want to kill any part of this honey whatsoever. We want it to be as natural as possible. This is the first box that we have. We actually have 2 full ones and half of another one, right? Or about a fourth of another one. 3.5 boxes total. So this one plus 2 more and a couple of frames and another one. So you think what, it's gonna probably take us about 2 hours to spin it?
Yeah, probably 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so between 2 to 3 hours we'll be in here. It's just gonna be the same thing over and over, taking off the wax caps, spinning the honey, putting the frames back in, getting new frames out. Once this fills up, we'll start straining and filling up our buckets. Show us your shirt, Harley.
I didn't purposely put it on, I just had it on.
You think it fits today?
Yeah.
That's cute. And that is on our bonfire store. That is one of the shirts that Colby and I designed. If you're not familiar with our bonfire store, it is a custom design t-shirt store. There are also some other cool items on there like aprons and coffee mugs and totes. Y'all be sure to check it out. It just helps us a little bit. We like to design and see y'all wearing our merch, so y'all be sure to check that out. We will post a link down in the description to our store, and I'm working on getting that store over on my channel where you guys can see those t-shirts that we come up with on the bottom of the screen. If you're over on Mr. Matt watching him, then you will see those shirts, but I'm working it on over here on this channel. But we will pin it in the comments and in the description so you guys can find it very easily. Y'all go check out some of the things that we designed. We think that y'all will like them.
There's 7 spaces to be spot. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give her $200. I'm reading it. I'm reading it. Stop it. She is me. 2. Here's your $200. She gets $200. Look, I passed it off once.
Well, we are finally finished for the day.
She looks a little tired.
This one is ready to go to bed. So what we have going on is we finished, this is full. I think you've already closed this one up, haven't you? So that one is full, is fully strained. This is our second bucket. I can see the line, it's up to here.
So far about 2 gallons, and we have a little bit left to drain in there.
Yeah, so this will finish draining out, but this is what I wanted to show y'all. All of this in this bucket here, which is literally completely full, will go over into the straining process. And once our other strainer gets done, I will put that over into a bucket, and we will probably get another gallon of honey just off of this. Now, typically I would render my own beeswax, but I already have a ton in storage that I use, like I mentioned y'all earlier, when I make products. However, I already have a buyer for this. How cool is that? I had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, when you get done with your wax, I would love to buy it so that I can render it down and use it. So actually all this beeswax is already sold. I'm just going to strain it all off, get the honey off. It will help them make the process of cleaning easier, and all the beeswax is already sold. So our jobs are done for the day. So y'all got to see us go in the hives, y'all got to see us spin the honey and strain the honey, and it has just been an incredible day because all of this honey will feed us for the next year.
People think we lie when we say we work all day. So we start in the dark at 4 a.m. and then now literally it's dark outside.
Well, I don't start at 4 a.m., but I do finish up at night. But it has been a good day, and we've got a lot accomplished. We had a couple of detours, so that kind of put us off a little bit, but our whole entire living room area where we had all of the bees, all of the towels, we've gotten all that stuff cleaned up. It's all washing, everything's been mopped up because it gets to be a really sticky mess really, really quick. But we've got all that done, and we could not be more thrilled. It is always a lot of work, but I do challenge you, if you're even thinking about bees, y'all go for it. You'll like it. You won't, unless you're allergic. You'll love them. You won't regret it. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I hope y'all enjoyed this video.
Go check our bee playlist out. It has a lot of information on it if you want to see what queen bees look like, queen cells look like, all that. We have a pretty educational bee playlist.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Hey,
I'm losing. I don't even want to have $100.